All right, we want to take a closer look now. We want to dive straight into the data behind tonight's turnout and results.
So we want to toss it over to Jessica Clark. She's standing by with our political analysts to break down what they're seeing as these results come in tonight and the races are called. Jess?
Absolutely. Good evening to you. I am here with Andrew Pentazzi and John Daigle, both of our political analysts for the night. And you all are agreeing with me tonight. The story is Angie Nixon. Angie Nixon winning the Democratic race in this primary for U.S. Senate. And so what strikes you about the people who are voting for her when you look at the numbers?
Well, I mean, Angie's obviously always had a really strong ground game, really good at grassroots politics. But if you look at, if you're trying to break down numbers, one thing that jumps out at you is where she did very well, and a few counties where Vindman did well. You look at the counties in Florida that have large young populations in college cities like Leon, or college counties like Leon, Alachua, Orange, Hillsborough, Broward. Those are the counties where Nixon did the best. Counties with older populations, Sarasota, Palm Beach, Volusia, Charlotte. Those are the few counties where Vindman actually won.
And so you think that that has something to do with the younger voter, where Angie did well?
I think so, especially in a primary. Those seem to be, from these results, they seem to be the energized, the enthusiastic voters right now.
In those particular counties. What do you think about that, Andrew?
I mean, I think, again, voters are looking for fighters, and I think we can see in the other primary results, they also nominated David Jolly. I don't think it's purely an ideological thing.
Okay.
I do think they're looking for someone who they feel like sees the current political, crisis of the Republican Party rule that a lot of Democrats feel, and that they see this as urgent. And Angie very much comes across as someone who has been willing to fight members of her own party as well as members of the other party. I also think people are upset with the establishment. I think people have shown again and again they don't like the Democratic establishment, even Democrats, and her willingness to take on kind of the establishment candidate.
So, and I love this analysis because I typically think in a midterm primary election, the bulk of the voters are going to be older voters. But you're saying not necessarily this year.
Well, I think it's also dependent on the party. I think, I haven't done the crunch numbers, but I would assume that if you looked at the Republican voters, it's going to be more of a traditional, primaries are places for older voters. But right now, it does appear that there's, I mean, just looking at the list data, surface level, it appears there's a lot of energy among young college-age voters.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so tell me also the difference between the amount of Democrat voters and the amount of Republican voters in Duval. Andrew, you were the guy with the numbers, and you drilled in on this.
It was almost exactly even, the number of Democrats and Republicans who cast ballots today, which also makes it so for our race that Republicans and Democrats could vote in, which was city council at large. Monet Holder, the Democrat, won with a larger share than all of the Democrats, all of the independents, and all of the third-party votes that were cast combined, which means she also won Republicans. We see in Duval County, this has been a trend going back for some years now, and it's becoming more and more pronounced. Republicans are voting for Democrats here, in addition to independents and Democrats.
You cannot throw away an election and just say this is going to be a low turnout. Something always interesting happens. Thanks, guys. We're going to toss it to break. Be right back after this.